Alright, in the last video we went over test-driven development. We implemented the main module in Model View Presenter. We wrote all the unit tests, and then we developed code until those tests passed. Next, we will be going over data binding. But first, in the last video I forgot to commit those changes, so go ahead and if you're still in the unit test branch, you should be, go to version control and click this button and go ahead and commit and push those changes, and make sure all those files are checked. Commit and push it though, and then after you commit and push those changes to your unit test branch, go to your GitHub and you should see that unit test branch was pushed. So we're done with the unit tests and the test-driven development part. We're going to do the data binding part. We're going to implement go over data binding in Android next. So let's merge this branch into our develop branch. So we'll do a pull request, and it's going into our develop branch, not master. And go ahead and create a pull request. The branch has no conflicts with the base branch. That's cool. And let's see. Does it show? Here we go. Here's the where you'll go to see the difference. So this file was added. These are the differences between the develop branch and the unit test branch, which is being merged into the develop branch. So we added this VCS file. That's just for version control. Nothing important there. This is the dependency for our Mockito. Added the import for Toast. Added our behavior, implemented our behavior methods for the view. We're writing those out in the contract. Here's the contract for the presenter. Implemented the behaviors in the presenter. And then here is our unit test, our local unit test. So everything looks good. We can go ahead and we can leave a review like looks good, and then we will approve, or just leave a comment. And let's go ahead and merge this pull request. So we are merging the unit test branch into the develop branch. Alright, confirm the merge. And we can go ahead and delete this branch. We're done with it. We did what we needed to do with it. So, all right, now let's go into our develop branch, and let's pull those changes from our remote repository. All right, let's refresh. Grab develop. And we will pull. When we hit refresh, the unit test branch is no longer there because we removed it. You can see deleted the unit test branch. So that's why the unit test branch no longer shows up. We'll pull those from develop, and this is a log of the changes that were made, and there we go. Now we have the most up-to-date version of the develop branch locally. Go ahead and sync your project. Alright, we're done with the browser. Let's go back to the Android Studio. Alright, so the next thing we're doing is the data binding. So let's go ahead and make a branch, and we'll call it implement data binding. Okay, and that was made from develop. We pulled that branch from develop. Alright, so for data binding, there are the first thing you have to do is go into your Gradle file and then go into your Android tag and add data binding, and we'll set enabled equal to true. And that is the first step to bringing data binding to your project. Go ahead and sync. Alright, close that. We're still waiting for our project to build. Alright, it's done building. So let's go to our activity main layout file. And Android Studio generated this file for us, and they named it activity_main.xml. I personally prefer to name it the exact same way as the activity it corresponds to. So let's. This is just my preference. I'm going to refactor that name though according to my preference. So we will do main activity refactor. Alright, so the next thing for implementing native data binding in Android is to the layout files you're binding to need to be wrapped in a layout tag. So let's go ahead and add that layout tag, and we will wrap our layouts in that. Go ahead and reformat the code with Control-Alt-L or Command-Option-L. Alright, so we've wrapped our layout file in layout tags, and in our Gradle file we've set data binding enabled equal to true. Now, alright, the next step is we want to get a handle on this, on our views. So the old way of doing that in Android was, for example, if I wanted to get a handle on this view, I had to set an ID and give it an ID of something like sign in button. And if I wanted to say set a click listener on this sign in button, I would have to do something like first I would make the get this variable and we call it sign in button, and then I would have to get that sign in button equals find view by ID r.id.sign in button, right? And then I have to cast that to a button, and from here I can do m sign in button dot set on click listener, and we could do new on click listener, something like that, and handle clicks on there, and we would do presenter dot handle sign in button click, right? That's this is the old, I want to say, the deprecated way of doing things. You have to write a lot of code. You have to put a click listener, either make one here or implement it on your activity and pass this as the click listener. This is no longer how you should interact with views on your screen. This is a deprecated way of doing it. So let's go ahead and delete this and delete this sign in button, and let's just take a step back here. This screen is responsible for handling clicks to the sign in button and sign up button, and when that happens, the user needs to be marshaled to the sign in screen or the sign up screen. So instead of putting click listeners on it the old way, like I just showed, there's a better way of doing that. And in accordance, in consistency with Model View Presenter, what we will do is we will add our presenter to the layout file. So we go into the layout file and we make this data tag. And then we add a variable tag, and we're going to call it, give it a name of presenter, and it will be of type main presenter. And go ahead and put a closing tag on that, and reformat your code just to make it look nice. Alright, so now we have put our presenter inside of our layout file. And remember, our layout file is our view. So now our view can pass interactions on these views. Okay, our view, which is our main activity, in conjunction with this layout file, will pass actions to the presenter through here. So we'll do onClick, and let's do at curly braces. Alright, inside of these curly braces, we grab our presenter, and we're calling a method which is handle. Let's go get that method. We'll copy and paste that from the contract. It is handle sign in button click. So copy that and paste it right here into the onClick method. Alright, and we will do that same thing for the sign in button. Well, let's see, override the onClick attribute, and then we pass it our presenter, and the method will be, alright, let's go to our contract. It is sign up button click. Alright, so one thing to know, oops, I put this in the wrong spot. This is the onClick for image view. So you see, this is an image view, but I'm putting the onClick listener, and I'm calling handle sign in button click. Let's cut this out of here and put that in the sign in button. Right? And let's grab the sign in, this one, cut that out of there, and put that in the sign up button. Alright, so that's right. So let's just review this. Alright. Our sign in button, the onClick attribute, we get our presenter and we call this method sign in button click. And for this button, which is our sign up button, same thing. Now, alright, one thing to note, whenever you use the onClick attribute right here in these tags in the layout file, the method that is called, is defined here, will always receive a view as a parameter. But as you can see here, we do not have a view as the parameter. So let's go ahead and add that. Alright. And we will need to fix the signatures here in our presenter. Alright. So let's go over this again. Whenever the sign up button is clicked, I'm actually going to start up the emulator right now, so we don't have to wait too long. Alright, so whenever this button is clicked, the sign in button is clicked, this method will be called in our presenter. Whenever this button is clicked, this method will be called in our presenter. But we have to actually pass the presenter to this layout file. And how do we do that? So the way we do that is we get a handle on this binding, right? This will go into our main activity, and we need to get a handle on the binding to that layout file. So whatever you named the layout file, for example, my layout file is main_activity. You have to name all of your layout files in that same convention, lowercase, underscore, lowercase. So go into main activity, and to get a handle on that layout file and the binding, we will, this is what the convention you'll type to get a handle on that. We'll do main activity, and there it is right there, binding. And we'll call this binding, and we'll set it equal to data binding util and set content view, and it is this activity is the first argument, and then pass the layout file, layout dot main activity. Oh, I forgot a T in layout, and we can comment that out. So now this is how we will get a handle on it. If this is still in red, make sure you have followed the first steps by setting data binding enabled equal to true in your Gradle file. Make sure your layout file is wrapped in a layout tag, and if it's red, go ahead and clean the project and then rebuild it, and you should be able to import the binding after that, main activity binding. But the naming here, it has to be exactly in this fashion. So the layout file will be the first word underscore second word, and you'll do uppercase first word, uppercase second word, and then uppercase add binding to the end of it, and you should be able to import it. Import that that binding, that main activity binding. And we call it data binding util, set content view, pass it this, which is the activity, and the layout file. Now we will have to pass this a presenter. So this binding is this layout file, and we have to pass it a presenter. So we get our binding, and we'll do set presenter, and this is the presenter we want to pass it. So we have to create that before we set it. So here's our presenter, and let's go ahead and pass our presenter into that binding. And now our binding has this presenter, and whenever the onClick method is called, this method will be executed. And when that is executed, this will be called, and view.show sign-in screen, and we should see a toast that says taking the user to the sign-in screen. So let's go ahead and run this, but I just remembered we're going to get an error because in one of the previous videos I made this sign-in activity. However, I forgot to add that activity to the manifest. So I will add that to the manifest first. We have the main activity, and let's go ahead and add another activity. And it is sign in activity. Why can it not find it? For some reason it will not find it. So let's do grab the package name and go back to the manifest file and paste that package name in there. Alright. I'm not sure why we're still getting an error. Let's delete this. Oh, it's because this does not extend activity. Alright, so we don't need to add this to the manifest file. Forget everything I said there. Alright, but let's go ahead and run this, see if it works. Alright, so when we click on this button, a toast should be displayed, and we click on that button, a different toast should be displayed. Let's verify. Alright, taking user to the sign-in screen, click sign up. Taking user to the sign up screen. There we go. So that is how you will start data binding every single layout file. Wrap it in this layout tag. We will have a data tag which will have a variable, and every module will have a presenter, so we're always going to pass it a presenter. This is a really powerful pattern if you consider configuration changes, because we can essentially when a configuration change is happening in the onSave instance method, we can pass it our presenter, wait for the activity to recreate itself, and then pass it that same presenter with this information already in it. So it makes handling rotation or any other kind of configuration changes very simple and easy using this pattern. And as you can see, it is working correctly. Go ahead and commit these changes to your implement data binding branch. Go down to version control, hit the VCS button. Alright, so we have all of those files. We'll give it a message. You see implemented data binding. There we go. Commit and push. Don't do the review, just commit and push. Wait for those to push. There we go. Alright, so that's how we do data binding in Android. On the next video, we'll be going over how to start this sign-in activity, as well as advanced, a little more advanced UI topics and styling topics, how to organize resources and illustrate things in an intuitive way, so styles can be reused and avoid code duplication. So now that we've committed those changes, yeah, that's what we'll be doing. See you in the next video.